This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Franklin Township Environmental Commission in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231. Adequate notice of this meeting has been posted. Roll call. Phil McElvoy.
Here.
Diane Podesky.
Here.
Okay. Robin Sudan.
Here.
Okay. Arnold Smith.
Here.
Stan.
Yarach, here.
Okay. Walter Andrews, I'm here. Paul Walensky. Ted Chase.
Here.
Jessica Johnson.
Here.
Okay, and that's all.
I just texted Paul to see what's going on with him.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. All right. Well, if we go right into the agenda now, chair report. I remember that the last meeting or the meeting before when we were talking about the education component of the new Plastic Reduction Act. I thought
Hey,
that
Paul,
might.
hold on a second. Maybe. Okay.
All right.
Paul just said that he's in.
Okay, perfect. I thought that ANJAC may have gone ahead and developed a model education plan, and I said I would contact them, and I tried, but I haven't gotten a response. Of course, there's no way you can just call them directly. You have to go through a response portal, put your information in a little box. And I tried one other thing, but so I'm going to continue to try, and if so necessary, I'll try to get a phone call and call somebody directly. But so far, that particular effort hasn't produced any results. I think I might have shared with you that Anne Marie, of course, is asking for attendance. She said it should be done by quarter, but she called for it, I think, last month. So I submitted the first 3 quarters, and that I guess the end of December, the 1st of January, I have to submit the 4th quarter for 2020, and I'll be doing that. And of course, the schedule for our meetings for the year did go to her, and I guess the way they do it, they publish it in 3 major newspapers, etc. So we should be good there. I haven't heard any feedback otherwise. And so basically, that's the chair report. I sort of mentioned, I thought that the 80/50 report was very, very important in terms of sort of letting us know where the state wants us to go. When I say go, the state to go, and then how does the EC fit into that or lead in Franklin Township? And I must admit it's a very comprehensive report, and I don't know how many of you had a chance to read it, but there's of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. For New Jersey, the main contributor is the transportation, I'll call it quadrant, at 42%, and that's where they have to put a lot of their efforts. And, they're talking about things, like an all-electric fleet, somewhere around 2040. And, in terms of commercial vehicles, trains, buses. I don't know if they're going to have any electric planes or not, but all those type things. And you probably have heard over the news that I think 1 or 2 states have said in order to meet the greenhouse gas, goals, that they will have banned internal combustion engine as of a certain date. I think California is one. I can't remember what the other one is.
2035, California.
Okay.
And for cars and for light or medium duty trucks, they have established a few years later. Okay. And I don't know about other states. I don't think other U.S. states
only one?
have adopted. Yeah.
All right. But California sort of leads the way.
Yes, and, absolutely.
So,
Walter, for those who
didn't get a chance, the Rutgers Climate Institute did a really good 1-hour webinar on the 80/50 report.
Yeah, I did attend that one. I tied into. They sure did.
And so if folks would like to catch it, it's recorded. You can go on the Rutgers Climate Institute website.
Okay.
And you can find it. I had to get off just as they were starting the questions, which was really helpful. So I'm going to try to go back and get the rest of the question and answer session, but it's available to everybody.
And also, when they had ANJAC had this month long, I guess 49th meeting, etc. There was one day where they talked about the New Jersey climate report. And that's recorded and that's available as well. But the Rutgers one is very good also. And they seem to have the ability to reduce it down as much as it could without, taking away the real elements, important elements of the report. So I invite all of you, any of you who haven't had a chance to take a look at that. But that's basically the chair report. And for the minutes.
Walter, I'm here.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Paul. Glad how you doing?
I had to sign in under Diane. It wouldn't let me in under my own name.
You don't sound like Diane.
I know, but I used her sign in and I finally got in. It wouldn't accept my name or my password or anything.
Oh.
But I finally did it this way.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully we can rectify that and you won't have to do that the next time. But
is Diane here too?
Yes.
Okay, so we got two Dianes.
But you have a Diane with one N and a Diane with two N's.
You didn't notice the detail. And a small P.
Hi, Jessica.
Yeah, my goodness.
Yes, Jessica. I tried what you sent me and it wouldn't let me in.
And the Diane with the one N needs to shave.
Yeah.
Well, you signed in as an attendee. So you have to, and I'm not going to be sending them anymore. The town will, but when you get your invite, you need to save it because that's your.
Put it on my calendar and it didn't do anything. I went on I put it on the Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say what your technology is doing, but when you get your invite, your official invite from WebEx, you have to save it because that's the panelist invite, and that's going to go.
That's what I used. It said join as panelist, and I hit it, and it wanted my name, and then it wouldn't accept. Then it said your name's not right.
Yeah, it's what you registered with originally. So I mean, I would check with Bob McQueen on that.
Okay, I'll check with Bob McQueen.
All right.
But anyway, I'm in.
Thank you. Going to the minutes, Ted did a fantastic job of recording the minutes, but apparently, Stan was saying that there may be a part that was missing, and I don't know whether they have talked to each other and we need to.
Let me rephrase it a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, yes, it's correct that I found something is missing, but I actually wanted to see the recording on the website, and actually they posted the recording pretty quickly. And when I run my own meetings for the Electrical Association, I actually use the recording to kind of write the meeting minutes, and it's a nice to remember. I mean, that I don't have to remember everything. But anyway, to cut the story short, I recalled when I was looking at it that I was talking about how Sustainable Princeton has a collaboration with the Princeton University, Montclair with Montclair University, and that maybe it would help us if we have a collaboration with Rutgers of some sort to help guide us in the projects for sustainability. It's the music of future, I know, but it's something to consider for the future. Just like we are considering the role of, sustainability officer or manager.
Okay. So that means that if we're going to make minor some changes to the 11-16 minutes, then have those been done, or you're still working on that? Ted?
How do I get this recording?
Just go to the township website, hit the Environmental Commission and meeting archives, and under the November 16th is already recording, even though we didn't approve the minutes.
Would it be easier if Stan just wrote something about it and sent it to Ted? Ted, would that work for you?
Well, I'm just surprised that I have no notes about that. I don't remember
Okay.
discussion.
I can send you the link to the recording.
Okay, good.
If it helps.
All right. So why don't we won't approve these minutes because we anticipate some changes and maybe they'll be ready next meeting. So why don't we do that and not obviously approve the minutes before us, the 11/16/20 minutes. All right. If we keep following the agenda, can we Stan, Jessica, can you post the agenda in there? Or share it. I guess you call it share it.
Yeah, I'll have to share my screen.
Okay. But next on the agenda, of course, would be the website email.
Well, unless Walter, you want me to give you the ability to do it, and you can do it. Do you want me to do that?
Okay.
Yeah, I can update the privileges here. So now you should have the ability to share.
Okay.
So at the bottom of the screen, you should see there's a mute button and a stop video button, and then there should be a share button. And if you click on the share button, it'll share your screen.
So I have a question. Am I the only person that prints out the agenda so that I can have it in front of me?
No, I do that too, but I ran out of ink.
Sometimes I remember to do it.
Yeah, I do too sometimes.
I find it easier just to have that in front of me, and then we don't have to use the screen for that. But either way, I guess works.
Ted, I just put the link to the recording into the chat.
Okay, Jessica, I'm looking at my documents here and I see.
When you hit share content, did you click on share content?
Let me go back here. I think it's that share file.
No, at the bottom of the screen, there's a button that says share.
Yeah, and it has two options, share file and new whiteboard.
Yeah. So I want to use the white.
Not exactly screen.
It's not giving him, why it's not giving him screen.
Jessica, why don't you just share it?
I think you would have to give him co-host.
I made him presenter. Here, hold on. Now he should be able to do it. Now you should be able to do it. Yeah, because now I can't. So if you click on share, you should see an option to share your screen.
Okay. And I'm going to click on share file.
Nope, you're going to click share, and you see if you click on it, you should see share screen as an option.
Share screen. Screen one?
Sure.
Okay. What's happening here?
There you go.
Here it comes.
Oh my goodness.
Where is it?
So then minimum.
Find on your computer where you have your Word doc.
Right. That's exactly right.
Put it on screen one.
Wow. Hold on here. It says you are sharing your screen, but I don't see the agenda. Thanks for using the WebEx, and I'm looking here.
Walter, where do you have the document? Can you minimize?
You have to open the document.
Right.
Where is it? I did see before, but let me go back here, see if I can.
If you minimize this screen, this AOL.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah, minimize that. Minimize it, pick the other one.
Oh.
Line.
It's the minus
Minus
next to it.
sign. Yeah, the minus
There, no,
sign.
that line. No, there
Yep.
you go.
Nope.
Okay,
What was
now
that?
go
No.
find the agenda. Where did you
Right,
have it?
and open the agenda.
Uh-oh.
Is it in
What
your
did I do
emails?
here?
Do you have more screens open?
No, I don't.
Is it in your
Okay.
email?
All right.
When you
think
click on share, Walter, there's going to be a number of options that pop up. One of them, it'll give you options just to share Word. It'll give you options just to share your browser. It'll give you all of those options. If you just hit share screen, it's the one at the very top. That should share your whole screen. So if you want to check your personal email, we're going to see it, right?
All right.
So if you select that one, that'll show everything. But then you need to open the Word document in order for us to view it.
And you emailed it to us on 11/24.
All right. Let's see here. Share. All right. It's not working for me here.
Where did you put the file, Walter? Where did you save
it? Was in my documents.
Okay, so go to my documents.
Okay, let's see.
Pretend you're not sharing and you're just going to get the minutes to edit them.
Or the agenda. The agenda.
Sorry, yes, the agenda.
All right, hold on here. Participants. Well, you mean I should hold on. No. The problem is that I use another computer for sending that, and I'm on my laptop now, and that file is not here on this hard drive.
But go to look for your email that you sent out on 11/24. Can you access it?
Okay. Wow, that's going to take me a long time. So,
how about we just send it to you and then you can, because
I'll forward the email. I've got it open.
Okay. And I'll find it in my inbox, right?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Hold on.
Forwarding it now, Walter.
Oh, I don't want to see that face.
Hold on.
Well, not officially for much longer.
Yeah.
All right.
Inbox, there you go.
All right.
And there it is right on the top.
Okay.
So then you can just make sure you save it to this computer and then you'll have it ready.
Okay.
Maybe the preview function will be enough if it has that.
Where is it though? A word, here it comes. There you go.
Oh, now you can maximize that. So you hit the little square on the top right, and then you'll see the whole thing.
All right, here we go. All right.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
And you own it.
Yeah. Thank you. The next course is the website, email, social media. Anything new there?
Yes, we did get an email from a Megan Mandu. She says, hello, I'm interested in buying a property at 221 Sydney Road. It's about 4 acres and is in a flood zone with wetlands. I spoke with someone from the DEP who recommended that I have an environmental consultant come out and look at the property. So I'm very clear on what can and cannot be done. My main objective is to be informed as possible before making an offer. The 2 things I'd like to do to the property include aerating the pond and adding another pasture for horses to graze. I appreciate any guidance you can provide. I don't know that we're authorized to give her this guidance. Am I right here? Do you have someone we could refer her to?
That may not be a good idea because you might become legally liable if whatever you say doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jess, could you just repeat what it is that she's asking for?
Yeah, I'll read it again. Hold on, something happened with me. There we go. Okay.
So she already
I'm
bought the
interested in
property.
buying the property to
Oh,
it's
she's
4
interested.
acres in a flood zone with wetlands. I did look it up, and it so if you want to, everybody wants to, if you want to Google it, it's 221 Sydney Road in Franklin. It says Franklin Park. She wants to aerate the pond and add another pasture for horses to graze. There do seem to be some pastures already in place for horses to graze. I didn't see any woodlands in the pictures I looked at, but she just wants to be advised if, I guess, if these are possible.
Well, they're certainly possible. As to whether they're legal is another thing. As far as aerating ponds, that's obviously a good thing, but it's something that I don't know if that would come with she would have to go through the township first and then the DEP, or I would recommend.
She went to the DEP and she said the DEP said to have an environmental consultant come out.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know that we're authorized to even answer her, but Seal said we can't even recommend somebody, so I'm not really sure.
No, definitely can't recommend somebody, but you just say follow what the DEP told you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to look for a private consulting firm. And if we recommend somebody and they don't do the right thing, then we could be liable.
No, that's definitely not our place to do that.
The other thing, you could give them 3 names.
I don't even, usually that's the way it works in government, but I don't know if that's our place. I mean, we're just advisory to the council. I mean, typically, Robin, you're right that you give them 3 names and they choose. So you're not showing favoritism, but I don't know if that's something within our realm of responsibility or authority to do. It might be the town's, but I just don't know if it's ours.
Can you say again the location?
221 Sydney, Sidney Road.
I don't even know why we need to look at the site. All we need to do is tell her to follow the DEP's instructions.
That's operating. Hi, Megan. We recommend continuing to work with the DEP and source a private environmental consultant to review the property. Unfortunately, we are not able to recommend anyone. Best of luck.
And you could say it's possible the township might be able to recommend somebody or give her a choice of people.
I don't think they would either.
Well,
yeah,
I'm just saying they might be able to, but not us.
Right.
I mean, the township, if they were to recommend anybody, they would recommend a minimum of 3 people, 3 companies, I would think.
If they agree that they work with all the time, but we don't even work with environmental consultants to recommend 3.
Right.
So should I say the township clerk may be a better resource?
Probably not.
I doubt the township clerk would know.
Yeah,
No.
it might be like
the township.
Want to recommend
Just saying the township isn't really redirecting her, so
maybe planning.
Mark Healy.
I'm not going to give a name. I'm just going to say the township planning department may be a better resource for recommendation.
No, the planning department couldn't do that either.
Then which department?
They are like, well, when I worked in the health department, if somebody wanted a well driller, we had a list of like 8 well drillers that worked in Montgomery, and we'd say, here's 8 that work here a lot. When we wanted a septic guy, we would say we had actually like 100 septic guys, but it's like, we just gave the list and said, you pick who you want, we can't recommend anybody.
Maybe the DEP can provide her a list of companies that she can choose from.
So do we want to take out, say the DEP may be a better, I mean, that she went to the DEP and they said to get a consultant, so clearly they didn't give her anybody.
Yeah.
Well, that she can ask if they would provide a list.
Yeah, a list of licensed people. That's public information.
All right, so I feel like I'm just sending her back to where she started, which would, if I were her, I'd be annoyed.
you're sending her back because we don't have the authority to do what she's asking. So we're telling her that the DEP or the people that are in charge of this, you have to follow what they say, and possibly they might be able to provide you with a list.
Yeah, I'm assuming she asked that already, but okay.
I think she just made a mistake. I mean, they said to hire a consultant and she ended up at a public environmental commission.
Yeah.
So she just needs to open something different, like private environmental. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's, to what extent we can be helpful. We have a bubbler at Sedam Farms. If she wants to, we can somehow tell her, reach out to Reich Sedam. He could tell her how he went about putting in his aerator bubbler.
Having a hard time hearing you, Robin.
I don't know that I want to put your brother on the hook like that, though.
And I don't think it's appropriate to name one person to go to.
All right. So, hi, Megan. We recommend continuing to work with the DEP and source a private environmental consultant to review the property. Unfortunately, we're not able to recommend anyone. Have you asked the DEP if they can recommend a consultant? Best of luck.
Or give her a list.
That's good.
I mean, she can Google a list just as easily as we can.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm trying to look up this Sydney court on a township map, and I don't find it.
Me neither.
Sydney Road, she said.
Sydney Road.
It's
Not
road.
even that.
Well, I don't find Sydney anything.
Yeah, me
Maybe.
neither.
But
Well, she put in the email Pittstown, but when I put it into Google, it came up Franklin Park, which is probably how she landed with us.
Maybe she's in the wrong county.
I think it's the wrong Franklin.
yeah, that's very likely.
08867.
Oh, it is 0867.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's like Hunterdon County, maybe?
Yeah, that's not,
Yeah, there is.
Okay,
if
that,
it's not
that makes things
7-3
easier
or
now.
7 something else, it's not,
Well, we are here to be of service, so at least we can help.
oh, that's easy.
Hunterdon
I
County
got 3 emails.
And one thing you could tell her is to contact the county extension agent in Hunterdon County.
Yeah, Hunterdon County Health Department too.
It's in
Okay.
Pittstown.
I already hit send.
Yeah.
We're good.
Fantastic.
Good. Moving
Very
on.
good. Any others?
Nope.
All right. Oh, it seems like the site has been quite productive. Maybe it's going to get even more so going forward. We'll see. Plans review. I did, well, Paul, did you see, I asked Mark if he had anything, and I did go on site, and there were 2, I don't remember exactly, maybe I can find my email, but for the December.
Yeah, there were a few. I've got it upstairs. I've got a list. Somebody sent a list, the TRC sent a list out that had a whole series of properties with different dates.
Okay.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. But what happened is that, they moved a particular site plan review is scheduled for a certain date, and then they, for whatever reason, they don't address it and they move it forward. And a number of them got moved into 2021.
I know that the Snyder Farm Temple situation has been moved to, I believe it's January 7th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
All
with
right.
the zoning board.
Okay. But at the last meeting, I think.
Okay, I have a paper
Okay.
list that I got from the TRC agenda.
Okay.
The first one says Executive Drive Investments. It says due 11/10, and it's got FP and PW after it. So the PW is me. And that was 2000, the planning board, 20-00009. Executive West, Executive Investment, I think that's the warehouse.
Okay.
There's a 67,000 foot square warehouse. They're cutting down trees and that such. And that's one, I don't think I thought we commented on that one at the last meeting.
I did.
What is the location?
That's, I think that's the one on Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we commented on that.
We did that one. Then the one after that on the planning board is 3 Ronson, and that's 3 Ronson. That's the 3 houses, I think. Yeah, that's a subdivision. That's a subdivision to put 3 houses up.
Is it on Churchill?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the other one for the planning board is 789 Hamilton. I'm not sure what that one is. That one I haven't opened up. And it's due tomorrow for the planning board.
No,
No?
it's due tomorrow.
Oh, it says 20-00008, 789 Hamilton LLC, due 12/08/2020. And there's a whole bunch of us listed, including the environment.
Now, the next
And FP.
board meeting is the 16th.
Okay, so I don't know, that one I don't know. Now, 150 Pierce Street, that's the zoning board. That one is the 2nd story of the charter school. They want to add a 2nd story. And that one has my letters after it also, and it said environmental. And that one, I thought I sent that to her, that we recommended a green roof there. It would enhance their whole situation as being an environmental school.
Okay, is that the one on Pierce?
Yes, that's Pierce and the intersection of World's Fair Drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You had them here.
Yeah, so
visit us once.
and I sent that to her.
Okay. Then
the last one on the zoning board is Tobacconic Fine Foods, and that's just removing a guardrail that was put there many, many years ago because it was near some people. I forget why it was there, but that's all it is. And that has no environmental impact whatsoever.
Yeah. So you say we have commented on all of those?
We haven't commented on the guardrail. I just made a comment on the guardrail.
I think we can get agreement on that. What Paul said, that there is no environmental concern whatsoever.
Yeah.
Period.
Right. Okay. I'll send her that email. Yeah, I'll send that to her.
Okay.
Now, it does say board compliance after that. PON White Rock / Gray Rock, and then ZBA Elion acquisition. This is the agenda. This is the agenda from TRC for December 1st. That's what she sent me.
Okay.
And the ones in gray were overdue. And one that we did was withdrawn. That was Million. That one got withdrawn. So that's all I got from her.
Okay.
Elion, I think, was, well, I know the EC reviewed it.
Yeah.
The 789 Hamilton Street is probably of interest. I just found a message from Vince Dominic about things that economic development. I think that was included in there, and it sounded like it was going to be a small apartment building.
Oh.
If you want to find it, that I think is the place where green roofs would be particularly to the point, because on Hamilton Street, you don't have much room to do anything about stormwater.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
The ones I sent her, okay, yeah. So that's all I've got that I know about. Were these? I don't have any notes in this book. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So that's all I've got.
Okay. All right. So essentially, except you say the we did the warehouse as well.
I think, yeah, we did the warehouse. I think that was, we talked about that because they were clearing a lot of trees.
Yeah, that's right. And we
Yeah.
suggested
Right.
that. Okay. So if we've already done though, but they are saying it's due from us, so maybe there's a disconnect there.
I think there is, but I'll send her an email tomorrow.
Okay.
And mention that the one, the Tobacconic, I can take care of that one.
Okay.
And I think we've commented on all these already.
Yeah.
Because I sent her one thing as individual. I gave her each write-up in a separate attachment.
Yes.
It makes it easier for her rather than if I just list the whole list of everything on one email. So She said she was going to look for one, and I said I sent it. I gave it a date, and all that.
Okay. All right. All right. Wonderful.
New business.
Okay. Well, I know what I have here, but there were a couple Paul had mentioned that he wanted to bring to us something about hydrogen fuel.
Yes.
And I don't know. I was trying to see on the old business did any of those subjects cover that.
Not really. It's a new subject for us.
Yeah, it will be. Even though we don't have it here, we let's talk about it. Maybe it'll be D, but
okay.
And I think that was the only suggestion that we talk about something other than that we have on the agenda here.
Right.
So Paul, be ready after we go through that. Now, here on the new business, we talked about the website and Robin, Stan. I'm sorry, Arnold and I are the committee, and we are sort of looking around at websites. We are trying to gather some information so that we can meet with IT and we can have perhaps concrete suggestions, or we have concrete questions, and to see what we can do about at least our page. But when I look around at some of the others, I did look at Montclair, and I think one other. I don't remember exactly when. In terms of what I'm looking at, our sites here in Franklin Township is pretty good, but I'll leave it at that, and we'll see what we can come up with so that at some point we will meet with the IT representative to go forward with any possible changes or information we want to bring back or change it in procedures, whatever it takes to make it better. But Robin and Arnold, I don't know what you have to say, but here it is.
My suggestion would be, I know that you and Robin have looked at other townships' websites.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've more internalized, and I found at least 7 situations on our current website having to do with resolutions, as a survey results, community gardens, our environmental flyer, the annual reports, a couple of other things, our mission statement. There's different things on ours that need, as far as I can tell, to be updated. My suggestion would be for the 3 of us to meet as a subcommittee at some point. Maybe we can share some emails between the 3 of us first to say what we think needs to be done. And then once we put all of that together, we can possibly, whether we need to meet, in a Zoom, just the 3 of us, and put it all together as a package for that pre-meeting, and then set a time to meet with our IT department.
Yeah.
I would recommend that. I have quite a lengthy list also, Arnie, specifically of our website and things that are out of sync, out of date. So.
We might have some of the same things that are out of date.
Yeah.
It might be worthwhile when we talk to whoever the IT representative is to sort of set up like a standing meeting with them where it's like how many, maybe it's 2 or 3 times a year or once a quarter, where we give them our updates so that we can at least plan by it, they can plan by it, and I think it'll make it easier for the updates to actually happen. Just a thought.
I think that's a great idea. Absolutely. And I did notice on our website, there was a part there says news or EC news or something like that. And I don't remember us ever having used that.
No.
Other than we have meeting, it's a news.
Yeah. So Ted, do you remember us having used that particular feature on the EC page on the website?
No.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I won't swear that it's never been used, but I have no specific memories.
All right. Very good. Yeah, so I agreed. Let the three of us look internal and external and come up with a plan, and then maybe we can sort of discuss it with the EC here, and then go to IT and take it from there. But it's going to be something that's going to be a little while, but if we get it done, it'll be worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will send my thoughts to both Walter and Robin sometime this week, and then we can put them all together, and we can each share with each other and maybe put together one document.
Yeah.
So when we meet with IT, we can send them the document prior to the meeting and all be on the same page.
Okay. Well, Arnold, real quickly, I guess locally on New Brunswick Road and Willow, where they're talking about putting a park, and I saw what you submitted in terms of background, common sense, this is the way things work, was excellent. That's sort of off the subject here.
Oh, thank you. Well,
yeah.
I don't know if you saw I sent 2 letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they were evaluating. I think it was a 6 or 8 year old plan, and commenting and complaining about the 6-year-old plan for this pocket park. And I said, there's no, the plan, I believe, is coming out in January 2021. So why don't you wait and stop bitching and complaining until you see what the actual plan is?
Yeah.
Of course, they were for those of you that didn't see it, one person started it and was sending around a petition telling people to say no to this park based on a 6 or 8 year old plan. And that plan was a 6-acre plan. The plan that's coming out in January, I believe, is a 1-acre plan. So it's 2 different animals completely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Having a special meeting on this park on January 12th.
Oh. Okay, so the plan will have come out by then?
Yeah.
The new plan? Okay. All right, so it's a big deal. Okay. All right. If we move right along here, Ted, you informed us about, I guess, the DEC sort of changing its frequency for reporting on storms. 10 year, well, anyway, because of the severity of some of the most recent storm. Maybe you can share a little more in detail.
Me? I don't remember.
Wasn't it
anything about like that?
Storm frequency and intensity. New Jersey triggers New Jersey state report on ISIS. On the cost benefit. And that sort of was out of the underground utilities discussion.
Wait a sec. Did you say we're getting involved with ISIS?
No. Whatever the name of the storm, how do you pronounce that?
Yes.
Yeah. They ran out of names, so they had to go to the Greek letters or something.
Right. Isaiah was the storm this last summer.
Yeah. But I could swear it was from you, Ted, and but maybe I'll go back and look at it. But you were saying this historically, the state reports. I guess you gave the storm severity report and frequency on a 10-year basis, a 5-year basis. But because this storm and several others have been so intense because of global warming and what have you, that they want to give them more frequent. And then we said, well, that's certainly fodder for asking for underground utilities. So maybe we have to go back and just sort of pull that all together, but I'll have to look up that email. I thought it was from you. That's why I put that in there.
Conceivably, I forwarded something to you and don't remember it.
Okay. All right.
Walter,
Yes.
Walter, Walter, before you go off that subject, I did speak with Upendra in the last week about our letter that Jessica and I had sent to him.
Yes.
Regarding a long-term study.
And
I asked him, is there any plans to do a study of the long-term cost benefits and expenses? And no, there is not. He was, I wouldn't say tap dancing, but was full of why. And essentially he said, who's going to pay for the study? And I said, I don't know that we have a choice. Look at the increasing severity, look at the increasing frequency.
Yeah.
So he said to me, he thinks, and who would pay to even underground the utility? So we spent a lot of time talking about that and ratepayers and et cetera. He felt the brilliant idea that we, the Franklin Township Environmental Commission, should put together a data collecting exercise and we find out from the ground up how people feel about this. Well, clearly we are not in a position to do that.
Was he the one that said that we should go work with ANJEC and other environmental commissions and try and get a big movement going with them?
No, he did not mention that.
I thought somebody brought that up.
Well, I have mentioned it.
Well, you're somebody.
That was before. I did ask him about going to Bob Smith because he thinks this kind of thing has to come from the legislature. A request to do this long-term study because the utility company will initiate it. And the BP.
Hello.
What happened to Robin?
We're frozen. Robin's frozen.
Oh, she's off. Now reconnecting. We are back.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah.
So I said to him, if it's really a legislative thing, how about I call Bob Smith? And he said, that'd be great. So I'm going to do that.
All right.
I motion for Robin to call Bob Smith.
I second.
So, and if you don't mind, while he also did say that they are considering undergrounding some of the heaviest distribution lines. Where they have distribution lines that are carrying lots of different lines, not the transmission lines, but the distribution lines. That they are looking into undergrounding those, which is a start. So that's great. It took 25 minutes to get that out of him.
Well, and it means that if they're looking at it for the larger scale distribution lines, then that means there is some cost benefit to it because they're clearly seeing savings. So that's why it took him 25 minutes because it's a partial admission.
So I will follow up by going to Bob Smith, and I've sent him I sent him a follow-up text because Paul, I admit, I forgot to ask him about the LED lights for the municipal.
Okay. Well,
wait. We did connect.
Right.
And we did talk about it. And I had asked him what we could do as an environmental commission to facilitate this. And his answer was, quote, we are adding LED street lights into the tariffs. Stay tuned.
That's what I was going to say. That's what you sent me. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So I think that's opening it up for a 3-month follow-up to see where that is.
If they're adding it into the tariffs, it has to be a lowering because they wouldn't go along just raising it.
Well, it's the legislator that would be able to fund something like that.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, I wanted to add that as new business, and it kind of speaks to this topic. So
thank you for talking to him. Thank you for spending all that time talking to him. That's wonderful. I think even though it's frustrating that he didn't feel supported, I think it's
he needs to hear it and feel it, and then he can say to his fellow commissioners, people are concerned about this. And I mentioned to Jessica, I believe, that maybe it's time for a letter to the editor of the Star Ledger on this topic of a long-term study. So maybe I'll reach out to Bob Smith first. He's a political wheeler and dealer. Does he think a letter to the editor would be helpful, or is there a similar move from a local environmental commission? So I will do that.
Okay, but you mentioned Bob Smith. I don't know, Jessica, what you saw. I read the Farm Bureau letter about the developers being very aggressive about looking for farmland to, build solar arrays, and some farmers down in Burlington County complained, and Bob Smith has a bill going forth, I don't know, to investigate or to look into that.
Yeah,
And
I can speak to that.
Go ahead,
Walter, because Reich,
okay.
my brother Reich is very involved in that with Farm Bureau.
Is that I wonder if that was the same connection? So you confirmed it.
Yes, and they are hung up on, this is prime farmland. Is this the right thing to do? So there is a production side, but there's also an emotional side for farmers. That's my take. And I've said to Reich, because I asked him a while ago, is there a recognized grading of farmland? Which there is with the National Conservation Service.
Right.
That couldn't you keep this dialogue going with Bob Smith, who appears willing to be in dialogue about this, that you don't put these panels on, the highest grade, or if there's 7 grades, you don't put it on the highest 2 or 3, but on the lower grades you could. And Reich said it's a tricky issue because we don't want to get in the way of people having the right to do with their property what they want. If they want to lease it, who are we to say they can't lease it? So I think Farm Bureau is going to try to work with Smith and his aides to try to develop some kind of grading system so that we still can go ahead, because not all of New Jersey's farmland is prime farmland.
No, the NRCS, you can go and you can actually look up the soil quality, what it's really, whether it's there's wetland issues, but all the different chemical properties. I mean, you can really dive down.
I think that could be the objective neutral grader, so they could still proceed with this and keep everybody in the conversation. So when I talk to Bob Smith, I'll ask him on where that stands as well.
Okay. Oh, so you have the opportunity to talk to him from time to time. Well, that's a great connection.
He knows who I am. Particularly, he knows me through the State Theater. But Reich said, "Oh, he'd be so happy to talk to another sedan other than me."
Oh, excellent! Thank you.
So
you mean other than Reich?
Yeah. So I'll walk through that door and we'll see where it goes. I've been to his office. I several years ago, I was very upset about the noise of the buses on Route 27, the pollution and the noises of the suburban transit buses. And I followed up on that issue, and I ended up in Bob Smith's office about it.
Wow.
So he knows I'm a little squeaky wheel.
That's nice to put it. Okay.
That's our problem, children. I love it.
All right, if we go down to C, I guess we sort of briefly touched on that. And so, as I said, let's all get informed as much, and maybe, things are going to be happening. Do we want to be ahead of the curve, or do we want to just make sure that we keep up with it? But this is a report that looks forward to 2050 in terms of New Jersey and the environment and energy and things like that. So we want to make sure that we take part in that.
Yeah, Walter, can I speak to that as
Absolutely.
well? I spent about 40 minutes on the phone with the mayor.
Yes.
Thursday or Friday. And Ted said, "You know the mayor, you contact the mayor." And I did. So he ignored my first email. He didn't ignore the second one. He picked up the phone and he said, "Your email's too long. What do you want?" So we covered a lot of subjects. My notes are, I brought up specifically Stan's request for the electric vehicle data. And he said, "Send me an email of exactly what you want. I'll work on it." He did get it. He said, "Wait, this is township money. We bought those vehicles. They're not being used." That got his attention. The environmental issue had no bearing. The money.
Okay.
So I've sent it. I sent that on the 5th and no answer yet.
The mayor called me this afternoon about your request.
Yeah.
he agreed he will speak to Bob Vornlacher about this. And he feels that this information should be publicly available. So he will go at it from that angle.
That's very encouraging, Ted.
Yes.
I talked to him about wanting to do this community energy planning grant that Stan and I have agreed to work on. And I told him, in my personal opinion, that it would be best if we tried to focus it so it benefited the overburdened and underserved portion of the township. And he agreed. He said that will get Carl Wright's approval, and the rest of the council would be in support of you doing something like that. He said, otherwise, don't look for anything from the council. So we talked at length. I asked him, I said, does the council care at all about environmental issues? Are they aware of the climate crisis we are in, and that it should be affecting every decision that the council makes? And he said, no, Robin, the council, you know what he said to me? And I realize it's being recorded. He said, I'm thinking of getting a Tesla. I know it's good for the environment, but more importantly, it's cool to me.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, Mayor, what would it take to get the council to be more aware of this, aware of the issues? I said, we all on this commission, we are reading this stuff every day. I said, I'm reading this as much as I can, and I have a little more time because I'm not working now. This is very serious. We are a perfect poster child in Franklin Township to be progressive on this. We've got 2 of our 3 borders are drinkable water. We have 1/3 open space. We have an underserved population. You pick it, you've got it. The only thing is we're not at the seashore and going to be under 2 feet of water in 2050. But other than that, we've got it. So I really got the sense from him that environmental things are not on their radar at all. And he said very nice things about Ted. He said, we all like Ted, and every once in a while we give Ted something because we like him. But it just speaks to me that we need to do a lot of educating. We need them to realize that. So I sent the mayor the 80/20 report put out by the webinar.
80/50.
The 80/50, yes. The webinar put on by the Rutgers Climate Institute. The recording was posted today. I sent him to the link to the recording, and I asked him to invest 1 hour to watch that recording.
Mm-hmm.
And he did say that when you come before the council, he said, number one, Robin, the Environmental Commission should come before the council with things. And he said, you should be the spokesperson. Well, I'm not volunteering for the job, but if that's what you want, I'm happy to do it.
I vote for Arnie.
And he did say that
Arnie has left the room.
they don't want us writing ordinances. That's not our job. He said, send us bullet points. And so I spoke to him at length about stormwater management and the new revisions and the suggestions for enhancements. And my emails to Carl Hauk twice, where do things stand? And Carl's, I think, absolutely rude response to me, which was, when it's done, Ted Chase will have it. And my question was, what opportunity for input do we have? And of course, he never answered that question. And I said to the mayor, I said, we are all volunteers. We're putting in all this time about something we care about, the betterment of the public. And that's the way we're treated. We can't get data on electric vehicles. Carl Hauk says, when it's ready, Ted Chase will have it. He said, we've invested many, many hours in attending the webinars, reading these model ordinances, understanding the enhancements. I said, why are we doing this?
And yes, and I'm taking the time going to the municipal charging stations, and I'm reading the meters every month. And I would love to go to Department of Public Works to read that last meter. And I'm not being asked, and I'm not being allowed to, right? So not that this is the best piece of data, but.
So I clearly got the sense that we need to raise the level of understanding of what we do and what's at stake across the Township Council. I don't know the best way about that, but if we don't raise their level of awareness, nobody else is going to do it.
Okay.
I mean, Ted is trying to do it every day, every meeting for a million years. And
no, he's not that old, but
but he feels it sometimes.
yeah.
When there's an issue that is coming to a head, then I bring it up. I mean, one issue that I always have at the back of my mind is this energy aggregation, which Phil and Roz and I supported strongly some years ago, and other members of the council said, people won't want to hear about that. And it never surfaced at a council meeting as a result. But, nobody is speaking in the public section of council meetings under conditions. Nobody.
Well, here's here's a thought, Ted. I have plenty of friends here in town that do care about these things. And I think I need to cultivate some of them to come forward and speak about these things. And I can work on that. And I have an opportunity to do that relatively frequently. And I know, for example, when the reporting was in the Franklin Reporter about our suggested ordinance on plastic before the state approved it. Several of my friends read it in the Reporter and said, "Good going, Robin and the Environmental Commission. Please keep going." So I know they're out there. We just have to motivate them and advocate and organize it a bit. The last point I wanted to make is on the stormwater management revised regs, since we're not getting anything from Carl. And I think this is on the old business update, but I'll say it right now, if you don't mind, Walter.
Okay, go ahead.
I think because the mayor said, give me bullet points, I think you, Walter, as our chair, should write to Carl Hauk and Bornlocker and Ted Chase and say, please find attached the Watershed Institute's recommended enhancements to the DEP's updated regs, model. We, as the Environmental Commission, we specifically request that as you write the new updated ordinance for Franklin, that you incorporate these enhancements suggested by the Watershed Institute.
I'm in the middle of the meeting, but.
And that document, that Watershed Institute document, is a very good preamble on why these enhancements are a good idea. Has a lot of supporting data to make the case for those. And we send it and we ask for a response.
And then I'll put you back on.
Because Carl Hauk doesn't even know what we might want, and he hasn't asked us what we might want. So I think we share it with him and say this is coming from very, very well recognized sources in the state of New Jersey, and that clearly, and it's in the preamble, the state DEP has said we encourage municipalities to strengthen this. And the Watershed Institute does that.
And I've had emails from Sierra Club members bugging us to include those recommendations in our updated stormwater ordinance. But, back several months ago, there was a webinar on this, which I listened to, and I think I at least called it to Carl's attention, and I think he may have listened to it. And I'm sure I sent him the watershed's recommendations at that time. But I'll bug him again.
Let's make it a matter of record that it's coming from the Environmental Commission, and that Bornlocker is included, and you CC all of us. So if we don't get a response in 3 weeks, I will email the mayor and say, we've given him all of this. We're asking for a response. It's rude, it's disrespectful, that he doesn't even acknowledge our request. And maybe I'll be beautifully surprised and we can't say no because he will answer us. But I think it's the formal approach. The mayor's asking for it that way. Let's give it to him.
Robin, if I could just hit on two things that you discussed there. One, you said that the mayor doesn't want us writing ordinances. He just wants bullet points, which is something that he said when we were writing the plastics ordinance. Right. He said right from the beginning, I don't want you guys writing an ordinance. I just want bullet points of issues that you want in the ordinance that is going to, whatever the final ordinance is going to be. That said, I think our ordinance was a heck of a lot better than the one that was proposed by
Lou Raynon.
Lou Raynon. But that's neither here nor there because, now we have a state ordinance. The second thing is, as far as stormwater ordinance is concerned, about just before 6 o'clock today, I emailed to everybody a draft of just about green roofs, a section on green roofs. Yeah. I don't know if anybody saw it. It's brief, a relatively longer paragraph and then two shorter paragraphs. And I said, this is just a first draft to consider, not knowing the time frame of when we needed to get it in. I think we should have something prepared, just specifically. I'm just talking about the green roofs part of this. And I said, I'm sure Paul, Robin, and I can work on it and have something finalized to provide the commission at our next meeting. Hopefully it's not too late at that time. And then when the commission says yes, then we can eventually submit it to Carl or whatever the process is. But from what, Robin, you're saying, there's a lot more than just the green roof aspect of it. I've just been looking at the green roof aspect of it.
Well, I think that, I'm glad you mentioned it, Arnie, because I think that should be part of our submission when we send the Watershed Institute stuff again. That we feel this is a specific need in Franklin, and that in addition to the Watershed Institute's enhancements, nice to know they're supported by the Sierra Club and others, because of our Franklin situation, and even the mayor acknowledged, yeah, we're getting all these warehouses. And I brought up green roofs to him, that we would like special emphasis put on green roofs, and if possible, include that in the stormwater management. I said to the mayor, I said, it can be a percentage of the roofs. If it's a warehouse and the pitch is less than 30 degrees and it's a flat roof, one story, we should be doing everything we can to start to incorporate green roofs in the.
Well, we have been told to no end that there's absolutely no way. Yep. Maybe it can be changed, but we've been told by just about everybody there's absolutely no way that green roofs will be mandated in the stormwater management. But we can put something in there as something that would be a reasonable recommendation to applicants with appropriate roofs for development purposes when they remove vegetation and trees and can't replace those trees, and they're looking for variances. And I think it's a situation where the township can use that as leverage to get them to install green roofs. But it's not something they're saying that we will be able to mandate it, but it's something we can strongly recommend that it be part of the plan.
It could be as a reasonable alternative. That's yeah.
And I think we should ask them to explain to us why it's not possible to mandate it.
Well, remember that essentially green roofs and solar cells are in competition for roofs. You can have one or the other.
But solar cells do not address stormwater management.
Right.
And we're looking at a stormwater management plan here. We're trying to address the stormwater management issue. And even though solar, is good,
it's addressing climate.
But it's addressing climate. but so is our green roofs.
It reduces the heat, the urban heat island effect, and it does reduce the energy consumption of the building on which it is placed.
I even put in what I wrote to refer to Franklin Township's Environmental Commission's Resolution 2020-03 for other environmental, economic, and social benefits provided by green roofs.
When people tell us there's no way they're going to mandate that, I would like to understand that.
No, you're right. I agree.
Philadelphia is mandating it in part. Denver is mandating it. Chicago is mandating it. San Francisco is mandating it. It's not like we're way out on the edge, living like a bunch of hippies with this nifty, cool idea of having a green roof. This is current practice by people who are reading the data and saying this works. And that stormwater management says for a major development, that water can't leave the property. So how are you going to achieve that and still have the room you want for parking, the room you want for trucks coming in and out? You're going to achieve that when 65% of the water can be in the roof. And then you're only dealing with 35% of the water. So when people say there's no way, we need to start to unpack that, and it may take us 4 years. But let's start the conversation.
But even if we can get it in the ordinance as a strong recommendation at this point, and then, like you said, maybe 4 years from now or 2 years from now, whenever, it might be upgraded to, okay, this is mandatory.
Right, because right now it's on the list of green infrastructure that's acceptable. What I think we want to see is a paragraph specifically regarding single-story flat roof buildings with less than 30-degree pitch.
Well, being on the subcommittee, Rob and Paul and I suggest that you guys, if you would take a look at what I wrote, and then we can go back and forth with that.
Yeah, I have it. I started looking at it, so I'll read it again.
And then prepare something for the next meeting. And everybody else, obviously, I copied. Although Seal, for some reason, I just got an email back saying that it bounced back from your email. I don't know why. So I'll try. Yeah, and I was using the email that Walter used. I piggybacked on an email list that Walter had just used. So I don't know why it was sent back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll try sending it to you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
You are referring to the recent mailing that you sent to us?
I'm referring to the green roofs drafting for the solid waste management plan that I sent it just before 6 o'clock today. I sent it to everybody, but Seals bounced back to me.
Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Excellent.
Walter, when we get to the old business, I would like to add one item to the agenda that it's the Franklin Township's Green Infrastructure Feasibility Study. This is what Tara Kenyon presented to us. And I realize we have left this thing dangling, so let's put it on the list.
Okay.
Okay.
Robin, if I could digress for just a moment. There was an article in the paper a couple days ago about the governor having a bill on his desk that if he signs it would ban LNG, liquefied natural gas, moving through New Jersey.
Wow.
It's scheduled to go from the fracking fields in Pennsylvania through New Jersey to a terminal they plan to build off the Jersey coast.
Wow.
And this bill is on his desk now that if he signs it would ban this LNG, which is very dangerous.
Yes.
Moving
It should not
Jersey.
It should not be distributed through pipes.
If what I was going to ask is if you speak with Bob Smith, and I think I'll take the liberty of speaking for all of us if you tell him that the Franklin Environmental Commission would urge the governor to sign that ban.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seal, if you've gotten any email from any organization that makes it very easy to write to the governor,
No.
I haven't seen one of those. You know, we got them from Anjek about the plastics or the League of Conservation Voters.
I was asking you to bring it up with Bob Smith. He would be the one to go to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Thank you.
Okay. Very good. All right. Now, Paul, maybe you can, at this point, sort of share with us the latest technology on hydrogen fuel.
Right. I have been working, I got a call from somebody in Detroit, and I knew some other work that's going on hydrogen fuel cells for powering cars and trucks and trains and tugboats and big ships. There's a group called Ricardo.com worldwide, and they're working with Kenworth to power big tractor trailer motors with hydrogen fuel cells. The difference now is that they, instead of getting hydrogen from cracking fossil fuel, they get it from solar cell operations. And then they crack the water to release the hydrogen using electric from solar cells. So it's a green process. And the hydrogen fuel cells are getting more and more efficient, long hours. So there's a lot of work going on. In Scotland, they're about to do an entire town fueled with hydrogen instead of natural gas.
Fantastic.
So that's moving along. I had a conversation with one of the New Jersey or the U.S. representatives of Ricardo, and he's even forklifts they can do this with. So it's working along, and it seems to be a lot of buzz in the websites, because now it comes in all the time now. But it's making progress. Prices are dropping, and they figure it's going to follow the same range as light emitting diodes. So eventually, in fact, my son-in-law drove a hydrogen powered car because he did the program for the computers for General Motors to power the car. And that was about 2 years ago, but it's moved on and it's moving along. So I just wanted to alert everybody that this is the next thing coming up for reducing global warming, because it can make a big difference.
When I was in Iceland, 15 years ago, they had several hydrogen-powered buses in Reykjavik. That's because Iceland has more electricity than it knows what to do with because of geothermal power.
Yeah. The difference.
You derive the hydrogen by electrolytically splitting water.
Right. And the difference is using now solar cells, which have gotten cheaper and cheaper, rather than cracking fossil fuels. And so that makes it green. And the byproduct is water. They crack the water, oxygen, so. Right. The other thing, in a different vein, but based on what Robin was saying and our discussion about underground, there is a Somerset County Energy Council. And it seems to me that they might be an interesting party to go to about underground, because they do a lot of work with the BPU. And that may be another avenue to bring up the discussion on underground wiring.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up to everybody's attention, and I'll be following the hydrogen thing and see if this starts going on, because the county and the town has some heavy trucks, and if there may be grants available to retrofit something with this kind of operation.
Yeah, the National Department of Transportation has grant money for converting larger vehicles. I know I've mentioned this before. They've done it out in Wyoming, and it's a national program. Mm-hmm.
I just want to say my 2 cents. Today I attended a webinar by Environment NJ about they call it dumping diesel trucks and buses.
Right.
And they have a very strong plan for electrification. And there was a question about a hydrogen fuel cell. And it was answered the way that I would expect, which means that the hydrogen fuel cell technology is still quite heavily behind the battery advancements. And it is more complex to make fuel cell. It is more expensive because to make hydrogen using renewable energy and hydrolysis, as Paul mentioned, it's just economically difficult. Needless to say, the question is open for large trucks. Because right now the priority is to electrify light and medium trucks.
Yeah, they're working with Kenworth,
and
which
buses.
is big trucks, yeah.
And buses. So they believe that the advancements in battery cells will go faster than hydrogen, and it will be just better to stay with just electricity. So these are, I mean.
Yeah, I know. That's what it always, there's always a competing one.
The thing is with hydrogen that it is actually, so to speak, plug-in hybrid, which means that you have to have battery. It's still electric vehicle, and the way we make electricity is from hydrogen on board.
Yes.
And the fuel cell contains platinum and maybe some other precious elements. So that's what makes it more expensive.
Well, there's been new developments just recently in metal hydrides that you can really minimize the amount of platinum, and that lowers the cost. So all these things are coming very rapidly. There's stuff going on all over the world on this right now. And that it'll move fast, but you're right, batteries are ahead at this point, but there's always something new coming up, and this looks like the new one.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So we'll have follow-up. Keep us updated,
Okay.
On what comes to fore.
Walter, can you suggest somebody to reach out to the Somerset County Energy Council? I think that's a good idea. I think I've volunteered for enough things. Maybe
Okay, if you would. So they would be in the county. So that's Somerville.
Yeah,
They're at Somerville. The council meets once every other month, but they have subcommittees that meet regularly.
maybe one of our other members could reach out to them and find out what they're about and how we could piggyback with some of their.
Yeah, I've looked at their website. It's very extensive. I looked at some of their meeting agendas.
Okay. So, Robin, you were saying beyond reading and visiting the website, attend some of the meetings and develop some contacts.
Call somebody. Just
call somebody. Yeah.
Find out what they're about.
Okay. Well, I can do that. Okay. And
how we might, dovetail.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are 25% of the county. We're a big chunk of the county.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Very good. Excellent. Okay. All right. If we go to old business, and I know, was it you, Robin? You said you wanted to add something here.
Yeah, the green infrastructure feasibility study is what Tara Kenyon
presented
back in August.
Yeah, I know. She was supposed to give you a copy of her report.
Her slides.
Yeah, I've got that, and we have some homework to do that I don't think we've done. If Jessica wants to let me share my screen, I'll bring that up.
Okay.
And we can see what's on there.
I may not be able to, and maybe something Walter has to do now, but hold on.
Well, you're still listed as host.
I am? Okay.
Yeah, it says on the screen, you're the host.
Okay, so hold on a sec.
Oh, I've got a share option.
Do I need to do anything here?
I don't think you do, Walter. It's
okay.
Here we go. Participants. Let's expand this. Robin, change role, make presenter. Yes, I want to continue.
Okay.
Passing privileges to Robin. It's
Can
all
see-
you, Robin.
All right. Can you
We
see
see a
this?
whiteboard. We see a whiteboard.
So share file. I have to go that route. I have this in an email, so I have to move it from my email to a file. My apologies. Let's see. One more minute.
You are sharing whiteboard.
I'm working on changing that to a file. Just give me a moment. Desktop. Oh my word. There we go. Can you see that now?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. So this is, as you can see, this is many pages into Tara's report. I'm on slide 12. And in slide 12, she is saying that our role, after having read all her slides, is we're supposed to review the initial stormwater runoff calculations and pollutant loads, followed by a review of the calculations of runoff and pollutant after the green infrastructure projects are implemented. We have to give feedback on the proposed sites. Remember, there were 22 sites. And the green infrastructure projects, are they appropriate? Are they visible to the public? Blah, blah, blah. We have to come up with public education events and materials. We have to advocate for the implementation of the plan. And feedback on the upcoming ordinance and future major review of major development projects so that they can get the money for this. And then these are the upcoming tasks. I don't think we've done any of this.
No, we haven't.
Anything has been presented yet.
Well, she presented these slides with the 22 sites. So
Well,
maybe the question is to go back to her. Is that what you're thinking, Ted?
Well, go back to that slide that you first showed.
Okay, right
The
there.
role of the Environmental Commission. Okay, we could review sites, but it's review of initial stormwater runoff calculations and pollutant loads, followed by review of the calculations of stormwater runoff.
After some changes, maybe.
You haven't gotten that, and that is pretty highly technical anyway, I would think.
Yeah, that's odd.
I think she gave us 22 sites. We were supposed to pick one, and then she and her people were going to go work on. So,
Well, I mean, has she followed up?
well, she presented this to us. And
Right, I get that, but she followed up and made sure that we have everything we need, because it sounds like we don't have everything we need.
I think the next step was on us. But
that sounds to me like an engineering issue.
Yeah, we're not qualified to review those calculations. I mean, I did engineering plan reviews and I'm not qualified to review those calculations.
No, I think we have to pick a site and then they will go do the calculations. They're not going to do it on 22 sites. There isn't enough money for that.
Some of the sites that we just reviewed had pages and pages of stormwater calculations with charts and everything.
Right.
Two of them in particular had very extensive stormwater calculations.
One of these, let me try to find the slide that has the 22 sites listed. I guess it's here. So these are sites within these various watersheds. One of them happens to be my church, so I that really caught my attention. So maybe the question is, we go back to Tara and say, Tara, what are we supposed to do next? She gives an example of the kind of things they talk about.
Yeah, I mean,
as you can see, we got a grant for $20,000 to complete a third report. Build off impervious cover assessment and reduction action plan by analyzing each identified site and creating site-specific green infrastructure projects. Update. So maybe Ted, are you the right one to go to her and say, where do things stand?
Yeah, I can certainly ask. I see it says there, the green infrastructure feasibility study includes site drawings, cost estimates, and calculations, et cetera, for a handful of sites.
Right. I think
have they focused on a certain number of sites?
I think she was, if I remember right, back in August, she was asking us which sites did we want them to pursue. I may be way off, but I think that's what she asked of us. And then was it her husband got sick or?
Yeah, right after that her husband got sick.
This may have all fallen through the cracks, so it might be a good time to circle back and say, did we miss something, Tara? What should we be doing next?
Okay, Ted, if you would make the contact and tell us what she says, and we can go from there. All right.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I didn't leave that meeting thinking that we were on the hook to do anything. So I could be wrong though.
Well, let's see what we're supposed to do. I've kept holding this in the back of my mind because 6 Mile Run was on it. And I just not sure where it goes next. So I want to make sure I stop sharing. I thought I did, Jess. Would you make sure I'm?
Yeah, you have your whiteboard, but I guess we'll go back to Walter.
Yeah. Thank you.
For the agenda?
You are now the presenter, Walter.
Oh, okay.
So back to the agenda.
All right.
Can he share while we have the whiteboard?
Yeah, I don't know how to get rid of the whiteboard.
I made Walter the presenter, so Walter, you just need to share your screen again.
Okay.
Last time.
Open the agenda.
There we go. By the way, I just sent everybody.
Yeah.
I did send everybody that green infrastructure feasibility study. Those same.
Okay.
I just emailed it to all of you.
I think we should have it, no?
Well, Ted sent it to me back in October when I asked for it. So maybe you do have it from August, but now you have it again.
Okay. Sustainable Jersey. Any update, Ted?
No update, but I feel the next certification beginning to hang over me. Right now, I'm concerned with my Rutgers course.
Okay.
When that is put to bed, then I will have to turn to preparing for recertification, which means, first of all, looking at all of the looking at what we did last time, and some things will have to be removed, and what additional we can do. Because there's always some things that, yeah, we could do that, but we haven't.
Okay.
I think it's going to be harder because another thing is that a big contribution all along has been updating buildings for greater energy efficiency. And I don't know that we can do enough more to get any sustainable Jersey points. That I think is one of the problems of the system, is that eventually you can get to a point where there isn't more that you can do.
Ted, I
Well,
was looking at,
there is a gold certification level, so there must be something.
There's not a gold certification level. And also what I meant was that in some actions, if we call for a 10% improvement and we've already done our 10% improvement, it's hard to find another 10%. No, there are
Understood.
specific areas where you can get a gold star. It's not a full certification.
there's definitely a gold certification, Ted.
Well, it's not certification overall.
They call it like gold status. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
Now, there's one in energy and one, I think, in waste handling.
I know that people were complaining that it's difficult to achieve, but whether it's only partial, that I don't know.
I mean, see, the bronze and silver levels of certifications are for your overall portfolio, all your actions.
Mm-hmm.
And then what they have for gold is that you can do more in these two specific areas, but it gets more and more difficult.
Okay. All right.
Walter, I can make a suggestion here, since we're on this subject. Is Maria Santiago Valentin, is she a guest right now?
She's waiting in attendees.
She's waiting in attendees.
Okay, so what I was going to suggest is that she's been waiting some time, as has Bill Bowman. If I make a motion to open it to the public, she might be able to add to something that we're discussing right here.
I would second that.
So it's been moved and second that we open the meeting to the public, and all in favor, let us be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's open the meeting to the public.
Okay, I'm gonna unmute Maria. So Maria, you are now unmuted.
Thank you for inviting me to this meeting. I have been listening to, it's my first meeting in Franklin. I have been in Franklin, in Somerset since July. So this is my new neighborhood now. And I am listening to how the level of difficulty or the level or how challenging it is to obtain the sustainable certificate in the town. I am a little familiar with it, because not in terms of the town, because I work in a public school and our school is trying to get the certificate as a sustainable school under that program as well. And
Which school is it?
I am a Botech.
Botech. Okay.
I work at Botech, yeah. And our school is trying to get that certificate as well. But of course, it's less challenging, it's a different level, and it includes other components I haven't seen on the application of the town at all, because in the town that I used to live, the commission did not put an application for that yet at that moment. But I know that I don't know if it includes a section. No, it shouldn't. I don't know how to say this, but in the educational application, it includes a section for well-being and wellness, and I don't know if that is a component of the application of the city.
I don't think it is it, Ted?
Yeah.
Remember such, but that doesn't prove that there isn't. There may be some in there somewhere. I'd have to look through the actions to see if there's anything of that nature.
It addresses also mental health, well-being, and wellness as part of being sustainable. Now it's all the whole holistic component.
I can attest that when I was volunteering with the McAfee Road School Green Team, that actions along those lines was indeed present.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, I don't have any other comment. I'm learning from all of you. I'm listening, and thank you for the invitation. Thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still want to be involved?
Yes, I want to.
All right.
We would like to have you.
I agree.
So is Bill Bowman out there? Does he want to have anything to say?
Let me, Maria, I'm gonna mute you.
Okay.
And now I'm unmuting the Franklin Reporter. You are free to talk, Bill. Are you there, Bill?
Hello, good evening.
Guess not.
Okay.
So can I move to close the public session?
Got a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of closing the public section?
Aye.
Public session's closed. Huh? Okay. Very good. All right. Let's move right along. On the one-use plastic ordinance, that's moving along. As I mentioned, I was trying to find out if ANJAC is developing a model education, component, and I'm very hopeful that I'll get something by next meeting. As I mentioned, I've been trying, and I'm just going to have to take a different avenue. I don't know if anybody else want, any comment on that. I don't know if you. I take every opportunity. I work in a senior group, work in a fraternity, that's already here, and I inform them, of this coming down the road. I inform them of, the 50 report, has for them, and things like that, without going into a lot of detail. So it might pique their interest. But other than that, it's going to move along, and I think it becomes effective. What is it, May 2022? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
March. I think it's March. Well,
March. Okay.
The stormwater management, that's March 2nd.
That's March. Yeah, that may be close.
You were right, Walter. It's May.
All right. Now, underground utilities, I believe we've covered it, and Robin has been. We sort of thought that was we were losing grasp of that, but it looked like it has gained new momentum. And so we certainly encourage her, and we're going to march along with her, to try to see where this can go. And if somebody says, it'll never be approved, then, we're not going to take no for an answer. Okay. I put in here the Environmental Stewardship Awards for 2021. We have to begin thinking about that. And I read something where I guess it was the Quail Brook or one of the golf courses in the area received some type of certification like gold, silver, or platinum for their management of their water resources. And, I was not aware that such, I think it was from, I guess I should have more specific notes, but something like an agricultural commission that bestowed this award upon them. And I don't know, should those type of organizations like golf courses management of their environmental resources and being friendly to the environment be something we should look at, but it was interesting to read. I don't know if any of you saw that. Maybe if I can find it again, I'll share it.
The Watershed Institute does give what they call river-friendly awards specifically to golf courses, and I think the Spooky Brook Golf Course, a county-owned golf course, has, and probably the other, whatever the other one is that's across is New Brunswick Road, have been given this award.
Yeah,
you are
I think that's what I was
talking about, something more specific and higher level.
No, I think that's exactly what you were saying is what I saw, but only that it was new to me, and obviously you are familiar with that. And I guess we don't, because they do that, we don't, as the Environmental Commission for the Township, don't, reach out that far in terms of environmental stewardship awards. So, but nevertheless, it was very interesting. It's nice to know that other organizations are out there doing the same thing. Okay. If we go down to, we talked about underground utilities and stream cleanup 2021. Is there anything new there, Dan?
Oh, yes. I think I did not mention it last time, but I checked with Heather Fennick, and there was misunderstanding. She's not available on April 10th, but she is available on April 17th. So we can plan the stream cleanup on April 17th.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
All right. We've talked about the Stormwater Ordinance and Green Infrastructure and BPU Community Energy Planning Grant. Well, we didn't. I guess we did talk about that sort of in a offbeat way, but I know that's something we are interested in, and we're looking to gather more information to find out exactly what needs to be done and if we might want to pursue that.
Stan and I have been talking about that.
Okay.
And I think taking this tip from the mayor, that if we try to do something that's focused on the fourth ward, essentially in Franklin. Okay. It might be the most beneficial in terms of earning us some credibility and leverage with the council. Stan's got some ideas. We've talked about community energy aggregation. We've talked about community solar. I've reached out to the First Baptist Church of Lincoln Gardens, to their Community Development Corp, thinking they might be a good place to start with an inventory of needs.
Yeah.
And find out what would be meaningful for that portion of town. And I also left a message for Frank Hasner, because I think he can reflect on the food bank clientele. And
wow.
If anybody else has suggestions of what might be a credible source of needs, maybe Vince Dominic or somebody you can think of, Ched, that works at Hamilton Street Improvement District, or any other persons to help Stan and I figure out, number one, what would be a meaningful project to tackle that we could bring back to you, and would it really mean something to those folks, because it doesn't do any good if it means something to us, and to try to move the needle on climate change, so it's not just a rich person's issue. I did go onto Sustainability Jersey's website this afternoon, and I found out a lot of stuff from them on their environmental justice credentials, where you get 10 points for this and 10 points for that. Not big point earners, but community vision, community initiatives. So I'm going to try to read all of that. But I think if we were to go for this BPU Clean Energy Grant, we'd probably be best building from that perspective rather than tackling something that's going to help everybody in the McMansions off the Sedan Road.
I think that makes sense.
I should mention here that the Public Works Committee heard a presentation somewhere. I've got notes on the name of the firm, but to do, they're going to make a proposal to the BPU for a community solar project, and they already have 2 warehouses lined up that they will put solar cells on. One of them, the 1,000,000-square-foot warehouse that's just come in on Veronica Avenue, and another one, somewhere in the Pierce Street, Belmont area. I forget if I heard the exact, I don't think I heard the exact address. And this actually, they said this would be much the largest such proposal they have ever put forward, because the building are so large. And of course, what happens is that then people in the the census tracts that we can put community development block grant projects in other words, the low income census tracts, are then offered, if they sign up to receive their electricity from this, or at least virtually from it, they will get a substantial reduction of their electric bills. The money basically comes from the BPU, because the BPU has a charge for social sustainability or something like that. That's you can see on your electric bill.
Society benefits charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great news, Ted. So that is, they've been approved to do this, or they're applying to approve?
Yeah, well, I mean, we just sort of blessed them. I don't know whether we should be passing a resolution in support of this, but we don't. The township doesn't have a lot of role to play in this.
So is it a not-for-profit that's doing this, or is it a for-profit entity?
I think it's not for profit in the same sense that RPM is, that they're not in it to make money, but of course there's some money to support them.
Today I was just coincidentally, when I was cleaning my email box, I found a message from BPU that they have a deadline for round 2 of community solar, and it's like February 5th or something like that. So I don't know whether it's impacting the funding, that it has to be only once a year, and the project has to be submitted to BPU or something. But I particularly like the project on the warehouse, and I also mentioned that every rental facility, be it a rental home or the owners, they are not interested in having a solar generation facility, because the stream of income for them is for renting. But the people inside, they are interested, but they cannot control what's on the roof. So it could be, and those people could be very well from the environmental justice, from lower income people, not environmental justice in this case.
That's part of the point of these community solar projects, is the renter can sign up.
And so you would put on the roof of the rental home, and essentially those who live inside could be the subscribers.
Are not necessarily anywhere near where they are living. It doesn't have to be on their.
Yes, it doesn't, of course.
Well, that's really good news, Ted. I'm very happy.
That's the LG plant, yeah. The LG warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
See.
Okay. The EV and town uses of the electric vehicles, I guess we not guess, but we discussed that, and it's has advanced.
If anybody's interested, I can show the November data.
Okay.
But I would have to get access.
Okay.
Okay, so does everybody want to see it before I go ahead and?
Sure.
Right, Stan, you're the presenter.
Okay. You see it?
Yeah.
Can you make it bigger, Stan?
Sure. Is this
Okay,
good
that's
enough?
good.
That's better. Yeah.
That's better, yeah.
There we go.
So, just focus on the table. These are the township chargers, and this is the public chargers. And so first time I read was on October 28th. So the next time I read was November 29th, which is kind of a month. And the next time I will read would be December 31st, just to push it for the whole month. And so what I found that overall 221 kilowatt hours was drawn, which is good for about 28 miles a day. For business day, so that would be 7 days, but for 5 days, that's 39. And that's for all vehicles that are charging in those 10 chargers, right? So in average, it would be per vehicle, you would divide it by 6. So that's something like 6 miles. This is percent fleet utilization. So it actually went down somewhat. And the charging utilization is always lower because there is more chargers than vehicles. I also estimated how much is the township paying. It's about $29 per month. Not bad, right? But it's also not too much of use. But what is interesting that the public chargers, I thought that they are not used at all, but they are. And overall, there was 169 kilowatt hours drawn. And based on how much is the township billing, so they actually made $37 after subtracting the cost of the electricity. So which means that the public chargers are actually making more money than the expense for the electric vehicles from the township.
It's great.
But still, you know, we have 2 public chargers displacing that much, and 10 of the municipal displacing only a little bit more. So you can see that it is lower. And this value, 14%, is the average utilization from the inception of those chargers until the end of October. But again, the period in August and September and the October is when the chargers were not free, so the use was substantially lower. So maybe if we extrapolate, we could use this figure, about 3%. So that's about it.
Okay.
Well, you have to remember that people aren't going to the municipal building nowadays. The use was.
Well, I can tell you that for some people would be using the free charger regardless of whether they are on business with the municipal complex. So
those people that would sit there and watch movies while they charge their car.
Or if they are close enough, they drop the vehicle and they walk home.
Yeah.
Or they go to Stage House.
Or they can go to Stage House, yeah.
Or go to the library.
Well, that was most users, I want to say, yeah. I know one teacher who was working in the library, essentially preparing or grading or whatever, and she was 2 hours was just enough to fill it up. So.
Okay, very good. All right.
Almost done.
Thanks, Dan.
Why is it doing this? Is it mine?
Stop sharing. Did you do that?
No, I have to make Walter the.
Okay.
Walter's the presenter now.
Okay. Here we go. We're just about there. Okay. Here we go. Some time ago we sent a letter to Amazon, sort of hoping that we might get their attention on the, green roofs. And I don't think we've gotten any type of response, have we, Paul?
I haven't gotten any. There are a lot of cars at the Amazon. They had a hiring of over 2,000 people.
A lot of trucks come in and out of there too.
Well,
absolutely.
But they had a hiring show. They were looking for more than 2,000 people.
Wow.
For that site. And
Okay.
It looks like they're going to run 4 shifts.
Wow.
So, but there were a lot of cars there the other day when we went by.
Well, what if you sent them send it again and mark it second request?
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can print out another copy and just put second request across the top. Yeah, easy.
Sure.
Squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And sustainability.
Can I go back to those electric vehicles? I forgot to say something.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
Did I mention that all those Chevy Bolts are under recall? Last time?
No.
For
They
what?
are under recall for possible battery fires. And it's very rare. Only 5 vehicles have been affected ever. And it's linked to charging the vehicles to higher degree. And you may recall that I was always suggesting to set the vehicles to hilltop, which stops the charging to 88%.
Yeah.
And since I have never been told that it has happened, I just assumed that those vehicles are under original settings, which means that when they are plugged in, they go automatically to 100%. And
Wow.
And I am seeing some of the vehicles being plugged in, and there is one vehicle that it's being plugged since August 4th or something like that, because the meter is actually showing how many hours is the vehicle plugged in.
Wow.
So you can imagine what it represents if the vehicle is 100% charged for 3 months.
So does that call for an email or something, or a letter from us to the township manager discussing that recall, and that the car should not be charged 100%? They should be charged no more than 88%?
So they can do that. This is how I do it, because I have the vehicle too. And I never charge above 88%. I actually, if I need to go further, I would charge it more, because I don't think it's that bad. But they might be doing the formal recall, which means for now. So they don't have a fix today. The temporary fix is that they take it to the dealer and they will do software fix, which means that they will prevent the vehicle to be charged to more than 90%. So to be formally safe, they should actually take the vehicles to the dealer for the software update. Again, I don't do it because I just use the feature that it has, that it stops at 88%. It's my own risk. Of course, 88 is less than 90, right? But it's just that one comment that I wanted to make, that the vehicles continue to be plugged in, and probably they are at 100%.
Who should write the letter? I think that was Marty's point.
I can draft it, or, I think I sent it to Ted already. Ted, do you recall?
Yeah, I think I sent Bob Vornlocker. I have to look back and see if I sent him an email about this. I think basically the way I'd approach it is to ask if, say, we have heard that there is this recall. Have the township vehicles been recalled? And the reason is possible battery fires when they're left 100% charged for long periods of time.
All right. So that among some of the other things, you can, if you've already done that, maybe you can just follow up on it, but we're waiting to see what type of response. And if, maybe if somebody's interested and want to talk to Stan.
I offered my help on day one.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah. We'll offer it again. All right. Excellent. Okay. Well, but Stan, did I also hear that there was I don't want to prolong this, that the battery manufacturer was somehow being drawn into this?
Yes, because the whole powertrain is being manufactured outside of GM facility. It's actually made in Korea.
Absolutely.
So GM is in investigation with the Korean battery manufacturer. I don't think it's going to be resolved anytime soon. In the meantime, of course, all vehicle values is affected. Vehicles is decreased. But it doesn't affect me personally. It's just the township vehicles. If they didn't accept my advice to charge it to 88%, now is the time.
Yes. Thank you.
Stan, only offer your help this time with a caveat that you'll help them if the DPW provides you with the data that you're looking for.
I think the letter would be better coming from Walter. Based on conversations with the mayor.
Okay.
Let Stan provide the guts, but let Walter wrap it in velvet and send it off.
Well, we can do that. Sure. All right.
So what do you want me to do? Do I need to send to Walter something? Or?
Your recommendations of what we'd like the township to be aware of. Be aware of the recall and the potential, danger. And I would mention the fact that there appears to be one vehicle that's been plugged in since August 4th, which means it's at 100%. Maybe they could be aware of that.
It tells more. It tells also the fact that the vehicle is not being used.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Stan and I'll work together, and we'll see how, and Ted, and see how we get this to them.
Not only if a car isn't being used, there's other things that go wrong with it also. As tires can go bad if they're not used. There can be other condensation in different parts of the engine. There can be problems.
You're right.
So, not using a vehicle isn't a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's
we
electric.
have a COVID emergency on, and some things that township employees would normally use the vehicles for are not being done. Specifically, the deputy assessors are not making house calls.
Yeah.
But just unplug it.
Yeah, certainly they can unplug it.
Yeah. Okay. Sustainability officer, we've had discussions on that, and it's interesting that the Montclair website that I visited, in preparation for a visit, talking with IT, they had a sustainability officer, and that was sort of the
Gray Russell.
Oh, you know him or her?
Of course I do.
Okay, but that's how you get to the. I didn't see an environmental commission per se, but I didn't take enough time to go through. But if you wanted to make contact with the environmental commission, you look like you had to go through the sustainability officer. But So we still think it's a good idea, but
Cold.
with budget considerations, no, we're going to keep it on the table. All right.
I did notice today in the ANJEX Environmental Commission handbook, they have a chapter on a sustainability officer with typical the charges to, or the job responsibilities of a sustainability officer.
Oh, okay.
It's right in that handbook.
You said in the ANJAC newsletter?
No, in the ANJAC Environmental Commission handbook.
Handbook. Oh, okay.
They have a 93-page document called the Environmental Commission handbook. And there is a small chapter on sustainability officer.
Okay, very good. All right, moving ahead, the Coyote program in April, and anything new there, Arnold?
Not a thing.
Okay, very good. Okay. All right, I don't know whether we want to open to the public again. If anybody's still there,
I'll make a motion to open to the public.
Second the motion.
Moving the second that we open the meeting to the public. All in favor say aye. Okay, open it, Jessica.
I'm trying to.
Okay.
Oh no, it says attendees too, but then it says none displayed.
Okay, so they're gone.
Where they're going?
I moved to close to the public.
Well, if it says they're there, then if it says there are attendees, they're there. There's just a thing.
Hold on a second.
So
Just unmute them.
Hold on a second. I'm making myself the presenter. Try it now. No, there's nobody there.
Okay.
Okay.
I see two, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, it says it. Well, Stan, I'll make you the presenter. You can go try.
No.
It's too late. It's done. It's 9:20 tonight. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
they.
They're gone.
All right. So a motion to